I'm Brian Winnekins. We are at the National Association of Farm Broadcasting Convention in Kansas City. Thank you to our broadcast sponsors, including Annabis Silo of Duran, the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, Darylin Equipment Services of Plainview, Minnesota, and Woodville, Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board, and Ashley Gausman, your BASF representative serving Northwest Wisconsin. I'm with Chad Asmus, and we are at the BASF booth, and we're going to talk about some things coming up here in 2018. And Chad, well, thank you for joining us. I know when I've talked with Ashley in Northwest Wisconsin, one of the big concerns we've had has been with white mold with soybeans. It's been a pretty big concern. Is that something that BASF is going to be looking at here in 2018 as to help with some of that control of white mold in soybeans?
Yes, we will have products available to work with that. Ashley will be able to help work out a prescription to control white mold and to have those specific fungicide recommendations to meet those grower needs.
I know another big thing that's been, at least on the soybean side, has been the dicamba issue. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, so last year BASF introduced Ingenia herbicide for dicamba-tolerant crops. And growers who utilized that important technology and applied it according to the label experienced positive applications and excellent weed control. For 2018, BASF will be expanding our training efforts to not only meet the new training requirement that's on the label, but so that all growers will be able to understand the hows and the whys of properly applying Ingenia herbicide so that everybody can have a successful 2018.
Was that with the use of the new herbicide and the dicamba products, was this something that was maybe unexpected of some of the issues we ran into with the drift and it was applied at the wrong time or the wrong time of day, or that the training we thought might have been there with producers, but maybe it wasn't?
We recognize that there's a lot of applicators that still need required training. And that's why we are pleased that the training requirement on the label is there so that we can teach them and educate them as to why it is important. There's a lot of important things that go on to a proper application: nozzles, boom height, not spraying during an inversion, things like that now growers and applicators will be well versed on and be able to utilize and know why those practices are there.
Talking with Chad Asmus, he's with the BASF. We're at the NAFB convention in Kansas City. Along with the additional training now for the dicamba products, what are some of the other things happening in 2018?
Well, so BASF continues to have a successful, well-rounded portfolio for crop protection products, from herbicides to fungicides. Your local BASF will be available to help craft a specific plan to help you maximize your yields for success of everybody in 2018.
And we've talked a lot about soybeans, but let's talk about some of the corn issues. What are some of the things that are going to be happening for 2018 for corn? Because there has been some issues as well throughout. One of them has been the glyphosate resistance and a lot of the weeds, and we're starting to see that in Northwest Wisconsin. Actually starting to report a lot of that. So is that going to be one of the focus as well, some of these glyphosate resistant weeds that we have to deal with now?
Yes, my background as a certified crop advisor, helping growers manage weed resistance for a long time in Kansas, for example, has utilized multiple sites of action and to bring a comprehensive portfolio. So the best thing for growers to do is to work with their BASF representative and to have a plan in place and to fight those resistant weeds, because if glyphosate has taught us anything, it's leaning on one technology for too long, it's going to break, and we need to
we've had too much of a good thing, haven't we?
It's time to start utilizing other technologies, definitely.
And when we mix, for glyphosate resistance, is that going to be a technology that will still have a place in that portfolio, or is this something that as we go on we're going to have to consider taking it out? I mean, that to me is something that, okay, if these weeds continue to be resistant to glyphosate, will we really need to, should we just stop using it? That sounds extreme, but...
Well, it's about preserving the tools that we have. And so glyphosate still has a lot of value in weed control. And we still need to utilize it as part of a plan, because if we stop using glyphosate and we start using post-emerge PPO herbicides, or we start using Ingenia herbicide in the dicamba system too heavily, those are going to break too. So it requires all of these technologies to work together and to preserve each other so that growers will have the most options for the best weed control and yield preservation.
All right, well, Chad, again, thank you for joining us. Chad Asmus, he's with BASF. We are at the NAFB convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins on Real Country 1430 WRDN.